Assalamu alaikum students. Today we will see the next topic under the unit magazines, exploring purpose and audience. We have already learned how different magazine articles have specific target audiences. Now the target audience can be classified according to their gender, age, occupation, income, etc. Magazine articles are structured and written to suit the author's purpose and the target audience. Now, magazine articles can have different purposes. They can be written to persuade, entertain, inform, explain, and advise the audience, or the article could be descriptive, argumentative, or analytical in nature. Whether you are writing a text of your own or exploring one written by someone else, you need to be sure of the text's purpose and the target audience, because the purpose and the target audience of the text is what influences all the other features of the magazine articles. So let's explore the text features. Text structure. The text structure refers to how the text is organized. The articles in a magazine are structured according to the author's purpose and the target audience. For example, if the article is argumentative, persuasive, or advisory in nature, the structure of the article would be such: it would be an introduction or summary of the situation, then the key ideas, arguments, or suggestions, then he would come to the conclusion or the summary of the writer's opinion. Now, if the text is analytical in nature or if it is a review, then the structure of the text would be different. For example, if it is a movie review, then there would be an introduction, then there would be the good points of the movie, the bad points, then the conclusion would be the summary of the writer's opinion of what he feels about the movie. If the text is written to entertain, then it would be a different structure. The text would first describe what has happened. It would be about the setting, then there would be a conflict or a problem, then it would be followed by a resolution, like that is how the problem will be solved. If the text or the magazine article is written to inform, describe, or explain, then there would be an introduction, or that consists of the summary or the setting of the scene, and there would be key points or features. So, what do we know from this? That according to the purpose of the author has to select the proper structure of the text. He has to write the text in a proper way. The next feature of the magazine article is language. The author will choose the appropriate language according to his purpose and target audience. For example, if it is a formal magazine, that of like a business magazine, then it will be formal. The language will be formal. If it is a beauty magazine, then it would be informal. If it's a game magazine, the language could be technical. If it's a travel magazine, the language would be more descriptive. But magazines usually contain lots of different types of writing, as there are different types of texts. There is news and information, interviews, reviews, advice and explanation, etc. So there is a combination of different types of text in a magazine. So depending on the purpose of the magazine article, the author will choose the appropriate language. Then the next feature is the type of sentence. Again, the author will select the type of sentences he uses in his articles according to the target audience and the purpose of the text. So the three main type of sentences are simple, compound and complex. Now a simple sentence has contains one verb, it has one main clause. A compound sentence has is two simple sentences which is joined together with a connective such as. A complex sentence is made up of one main clause and one subordinate clause which is joined to make sense. Okay, we will do more about this in the next class. So what does this imply? That the author has to select which type of sentence he would be using according to his audience and purpose. For example, the author cannot use compound and complex sentences if it's a children's magazine. Okay, so I hope you have understood the topic. Now let's come to the homework. This is a text exploration map which is given on page number 45. The picture is not clear here. I will be sending you a clear picture. This is a summary of what all we have learnt. You can use this text exploration map as it will guide you on the structure and organization of different texts and will also help you to describe the different language terms and the sentence features while you're doing your homework. Now the homework is on page number 44, activity 1. You have to read the article which is given. This is an article from a magazine called Empire Film Magazine. Read the article well, and then there is a question below. You can see question number 2. Answer this question. What is the question? Look at the text exploration map on page 45. This was the text exploration map. What do you think is the purpose of this text? So you can see this box here. This will give you clues to the purpose of the text. It contains useful words which you can use to describe or write the answer. Okay, so you just have to write the purpose of this text after reading this article. Then the next homework is on page number 46, activity 2. Now this contains questions 1 to 6. Now I have divided it into 2 so that it is easy to view. You can see it's till question number 6. Now the first homework, the first point. The magazine article on page 44 has two different purposes. It aims to entertain while it informs the reader. What pieces of information can you identify in each paragraph of the text? Write your answers in a table like the one opposite. Okay, so what will you do? You have to find the points in which the author is giving information. Okay, the article is for two purposes. It is for informing and for entertaining. Okay, so what can you find, what pieces of information you can identify in the paragraph, that you have to write down. For example, in the first paragraph you can find that there is going to be a new Indiana Jones film called Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. So this is the piece of information that the author is given in the first paragraph. Now find one more and write. Then in paragraph 2 also you would be able to find at least two pieces of information that the author has given. In paragraph 3 also you will be able to find at least one. Okay, so it's better that you do this in your notebook so that it is easy for me to correct. Do it in pencil, don't write in pen. Then the second question, there are different ways of entertaining your reader. For example, by interesting them, by shocking them, by making them laugh. Use a table like the one below to find examples of the techniques used by the writer of the article on page 44. So what do you have to do? You have to make this table which is given. Okay, now there are different ways in which you can entertain your audience. You can entertain them by telling them an interesting fact. You can shock or surprise them. Then you can use humor. Okay, so find examples of these. Where can you find an interesting fact? Write it down here. What is a shocking or surprising fact that you find in the article? Right. Then write the humor that you find. Okay. Then next, question number 3. How has the writer structured this text? Use the text exploration map on page 45 to help you. You can write your answer in a table like this. Again, you will be making a table. You will write how the text has been structured. So there are 3 paragraphs. So for each paragraph you will write how it is structured. For example, whether the introduction comes first and then there is explanation. Okay, or the summary is given first and then there is conclusion. However, whatever you find, you write in this section. Okay, again you can use this text exploration map to find out about how. See, in this part you will find, this whole part you will find clues of different ways in which the text has been structured. You will find useful words to use in your answer. Then the second question, the B part, why is this an effective structure for an information text? Now, why do you feel that the author has chosen the appropriate structure? Just write it down in your own words. Let's look at 4A. How are the paragraphs in the text structured? Look at the first sentence of each paragraph. Is it a topic sentence which the rest of the paragraph expands and explains? Or is it a point supported with an example and explanation? Again, you have to write about the paragraphs, how they are structured. Okay, again you can use the text exploration map to help you with the answer. Again, you in the B part you will write whether this is an effective structure, whether you feel that the paragraph are structured appropriately. You write your own opinion. Question number 5. What kinds of sentences does the writer use in this text? Use the text exploration map to help you. Do these sentence types help to achieve the purpose of the text? Make it appropriate for its target audience, or both? So what do you have to do in this? You have to write the kinds of sentences. So we have done the different kinds of sentences. Again, you can use the types of sentences given here: simple, complex, compound, Also, in sentences, there are long sentences or short sentences. So you can see, analyze the text, and write what type of sentence the writer has used. And what do you feel, whether the writer has it is helped to achieve the purpose of the text, or do you feel it is appropriate for the target audience, or whether it is both? So you choose A, B, or C. So there are two parts of this question. First is what type of sentence he has used, that you will write, and then you will choose an option from this, A, B, or C. Then the sixth question, how would you describe the language the writer has chosen to use? Does the writer's language choice help to achieve the purpose of the text, make it appropriate for its target audience, or both? Again, you can use the text exploration map. Over here, you will find the different languages. Okay, there's formal, informal, emotive, descriptive, technical, positive, negative, complex, simple. Okay, so choose what type of language the writer has used. Okay, whether, and then you answer these questions, whether it has helped him to achieve the purpose of the text, whether it is appropriate for its target audience, or whether both, he has been able to achieve both the purposes. Okay, so read the text well, read it at least twice, thrice, and then only answer these questions. Don't just start writing the answers without reading the text properly. When Steven Spielberg and George Lucas started to assemble Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, they must have been pretty confident about getting Sir Sean Connery, also known as Professor Henry Jones, on board. After all, Connery had been retired from acting for the last 4 years, but he had gone on record declaring that it would take an offer he couldn't refuse to abandon his daily grind of golf, grumbling about kids these days, and watching Deal or No Deal. You know, regular pensioner stuff. That offer, we all thought, was Indiana Jones 4. But Connery said no. To the untrained eye, Connery's decision was something of a shocker. To those in the know, though, it was hardly a surprise. His decision to retire can be traced directly back to the horrendous experience he had in making the 2003 wannabe summer blockbuster, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Connery, who was paid a reported $17 million, must have thought he was going to have a nice cushy summer, fitting in the odd spot of acting in between rounds of golf. Instead, the LXG shoot proved so grueling that it drove the Scottish legend into immediate retirement. There are rumors that Connery's polite refusal to participate in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was a smokescreen, and that Henry Jones Sr. will indeed appear in the new movie, if only for a brief instant. We hope that's true. It would be a shame if LXG were really to be the final chapter of his illustrious big screen career. Thank you, students. I will be sending you pictures of the text. So please write the answers in your notebook. Please don't write it in the textbook, and write it in pencil. I will be discussing the answers with you all either in a Zoom class, or I will be sending you a video in which I explain you the answers. And yes, please submit your homeworks by Friday.